To be honest, I still find things surreal, even now. A grin adorned Tristan's face. It's real, Tristan. You're really marrying Sophie very soon. On top of that, the two of you will live happily ever after, Felix assured. Yeah. Go on and hit the sack. I reckon I won't be able to sleep for the entire night. Tristan did not want to go to bed. How I wish tomorrow comes right away. Then, I can go and pick my beautiful bride up. I'll keep you company then. We're friends who grew up together, so I should stay by his side now, no? Come, let's have a drink. Feeling that it did not matter to imbibe for a bit, Tristan poured Felix a glass of red wine. Why don't you give Sophie a call? Perhaps she's also no better than you, so excited that she can't sleep. Since he's already bubbling with eagerness, he might as well phone her. Tristan shook his head. What if she's already asleep? I don't want to disrupt her rest. Never had Felix seen the man in his current state. He's a man with absolute authority and influence in Jipsdale. Everyone who offends him will find themselves in dire straits. Yet, he's now acting like a kid. Love can truly change a person. Who would have imagined that the cold and aloof Mr. Tristan would turn into his present self after meeting the person destined for him? That night, there was another person who could not sleep. It was none other than William. No sooner had he dozed off than he dreamed of his deceased wife. In his dream, she still appeared to be around 30 years old. She wore a white floral dress, looking as lovely as ever. On the contrary, he was already old. Neither of them spoke, merely gazing at each other with tears streaming down their faces. When he woke up, he could not sleep anymore. All his life, he had loved his wife deeply and irrevocably. As for their children, he had also tried his best to fulfill his responsibilities as a father. He felt that his life was worth living. His only regret was his inability to grow old with his wife. If there were a next lifetime, he still wanted to meet and love her. Glancing at the time, he saw that it was getting late. Since he could not sleep, he draped a shirt over himself and got up. At Sophie's mansion, the top-notch makeup artists and stylists arrived at 5 o'clock on the dot. Sophie had only fallen asleep at a little over 3 o'clock. After being dragged out of bed, she kept yawning in the chair. Nonetheless, her makeup artist and stylist had already gotten to work. She had good looks in the first place, but the primary aspect of a traditional wedding was the hairstyle. By then, the hairstylist had started braiding and styling her hair. Isabel, Cecilia, and Georgina had also come over. Arius had personally driven Georgina there. After doing so, he had to go to Tristan's place. Then, he would head back alongside the groom's party to pick the bride up. Cecilia didn't sleep well last night either. Whenever she thought of the events that had transpired between her and Sean, irritation swamped her. Never had she been a person who dragged things out. Yet, she could not even recognize herself at present. She downright loathed her current self. Alas, there was nothing she could do about it. Didn't you sleep last night, Cecilia? Why are there prominent dark circles under your eyes? Isabel asked in concern upon noticing her condition. Cecilia stared at herself in the mirror. Oh well, matters of the heart are really out of one's control. I'm fine. Perhaps I've been under too much pressure at work recently. She did not elaborate on her matter. It was Sophie's wedding that day, so she felt that there was no need to be unhappy because of her. All she wanted was to see Sophie well. Everything else did not matter anymore. Georgina similarly cast a look at Cecilia. For some reason, I find that something is off with her lately. Do you have a boyfriend, Ms. Lance? Cecilia was slightly taken aback. Nope. I've always been single. Oh, then I might have been mistaken. She appears to be pregnant. But I'm not all that close with her, and she has already denied having a boyfriend. Wouldn't it be inappropriate if I were to continue pursuing the subject? As it was a traditional wedding, all three of them who were bridesmaids also wore the corresponding bridesmaid dresses. They all had striking looks, especially Isabel and Cecilia. Each of them was beautiful in their own right. Coupled with their attires, they looked as if they had traveled to the future from ancient times. Such dress suits you perfectly, Ms. Lance. Won't you consider filming a television series? The makeup artist was Cecilia's fan, and she was seized by the urge to shriek in excitement to see her dressed in such a manner. I don't have such plans for the time being. Right then, Cecilia was mainly focused on filming movies. The duration for filming a television series was too long, and she was unused to it. All right, shall we go and see how Sophie is doing? Sophie is the protagonist today. Sure. I'm also looking forward to seeing her. I heard that her wedding gown cost 8 figures. It's just a wedding, but the expenses are sky high. When the 3 ladies arrived at Sophie's room, Sophie was all ready, having changed and her makeup done. She merely sat there quietly. Nonetheless, she could steal one's heart away. If she had been born in ancient times with such a stunning countenance, the king would have certainly taken a fancy to her. Sophie, you are simply gorgeous. I've never seen such a beautiful bride. Isabel exclaimed. Cecilia bobbed her head in agreement. You'd definitely shoot to stardom if you were to star in a fantasy drama with an ancient setting considering your looks. With such a countenance, she'd have countless fans. Likewise, Georgina nodded fervently. Yeah, she's beautiful, a veritable bombshell. Indeed, Sophie was the most beautiful bride they had ever seen. The phoenix on the red wedding gown on her was realistic to the point of being lifelike. Nevertheless, she had no problems pulling it off. See, I told you such traditional dress suits you perfectly, the few makeup artists said jubilantly. While the bride is stunning herself, and we merely accentuated her beauty, she's still our masterpiece no matter what. Is that not so? If Uncle Tristan were to see you tisk tisk. Despite being a girl, even I am besotted by her beauty, much less Uncle Tristan. What time is it now? It was also Sophie's first time seeing herself so beautiful. Regretfully, there was a price to be paid, for such a makeover took more than 2 hours. A little over 7 o'clock. In that case, it's almost time. Stay still, Ms. Tanner. There's still a final step, and that is placing the tiara on you. The assistant took out the tiara. The moment Cecilia laid eyes on it, her jaw dropped in astonishment. Oh my God, she's practically wearing a mansion on her head. The tiara was a sight to behold. Georgina went green with envy. Mr. Tristan is truly good to you, Sophie. He loves you beyond words. Mr. Tristan has really expended a lot of effort on the wedding this time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have prepared all this. Yeah, he has always been good to me, and I've always known that. How lucky am I to meet him? It's not the amount of money he spent on me, but all this thought he put in. You're so lucky. It was not Sophie's intention to be ostentatious, but everything about her incurred the envy of all who beheld her. Her romantic life makes me so jealous. The hairdresser secured the tiara atop Sophie's head. It's all done, Ms. Tanner. If there is anything that is not up to your satisfaction, please let us know. They had been hired to do her makeup at great expense. They were expected to do a good job and would not be worth their fee otherwise. I'm happy with everything. Go take a break. I will let you know if there's anything else I need. The stylists must be exhausted after getting up early today. All right, Ms. Tanner. We'll check in on you later. The group of stylists went next door to get some rest. Morgan was busy receiving their guests. He came over to Sophie's bedroom when he had the chance to and could not stop the tears brimming in his eyes upon seeing her with her makeup done. If old Mr. Tanner is still around, he will be so happy to see this. When Sophie saw Morgan, she stood up and walked up to him. Don't cry, Morgan. Aren't you happy for me? Sophie knew very well why her butler was in tears. And because she knew, she felt awful. Yes, Ms. Sophie. I'm sure your grandfather, bless his soul, would be so happy to see you now. Ms. Sophie has always been capable. She deserves all the happiness she has. She has endured much suffering, but things are better now. Mrs. Tanner should be he trailed off. It's her daughter's wedding. Why isn't she here yet? Anyway, it's Ms. Sophie's big day today. I don't want to think about those people. You're not young anymore, Morgan. Take it easy. There are plenty of others to help out. Being at the age that he is, he'll wear himself out if he keeps this up. I'm fine, Ms. Sophie. It's my honor to serve you. It's better than not achieving anything, anyway. I prefer my days to be spent meaningfully. Just then, the Wheelers arrived. As soon as Sonny saw Sophie with her makeup done, he leaned toward Mark. I'm not exaggerating, Mark, but even if the popular celebrities of the entertainment industry were here, they would not hold a candle against Sophie. Mark was similarly stunned. Indeed, I've never seen Sophie like this. She was so breathtakingly beautiful that some of them forgot to breathe. You are stunning, Sophie, Sonny complimented her candidly. Thank you. Sophie was not used to looking like that. You really are beautiful. Mr. Tristan is a very lucky man. Isn't he not, for having a woman as beautiful as Sophie? Caleb arrived right then. Following behind him were Charmaine and Willow. It was Charmaine's first time at that mansion. She was flabbergasted upon finding out that it belonged to Sophie. This house is even nicer than the Tanner residence. Is Tanner Group doing that well? Charmaine received dividends every month, but she had never imagined that Sophie could afford a house like that. It's Sophie's big day today, Mom. Why are you talking about these things? Regardless of its profitability, Tanner Group's financial performance was a collaborative effort among all its employees. Willow clenched her fists. At this point, Sophie is so far ahead that I'll never catch up. Even more so now that she's marrying Tristan. Her heart burned with envy, but there was no longer anything she could do. What an awful feeling. All right, we should go see Sophie. I should have come earlier to lend a hand, but something came up at the research institute. Caleb was frustrated at not being able to make it earlier. The trio entered Sophie's room. Willow did not want to come but somehow found herself tagging along. She wanted to see how well Sophie was doing. Upon seeing the tiara on her sister's head and the wedding gown she wore, Willow felt another blow to her self-esteem. It's too big a gap. Sophie is living my dream, and she attained it so easily. I will never achieve all of this for as long as I live. Charmaine was similarly shocked. Everything Sophie had was what every woman coveted. They were all mesmerizing, lofty ideals. We're here, Sophie. Is there anything we can do to help? If there isn't, I'll go help Morgan. Look at how hard he's working all on his own. I'm worried about his health. I don't need any help here, Caleb. You go help Morgan. Morgan was, after all, advanced in years. With that many guests at the mansion that day, it would be exhausting for him to entertain all of them on his own. All right. Then you'll... Caleb was a little worried about Charmaine and Willow causing trouble. Go on. I know what day it is. I won't cause any trouble. Charmaine knew what Caleb was worried about, but it was Sophie's wedding day, and Tristan was the groom. No amount of courage would induce her to cause any trouble. Caleb gave a grunt of assent before departing. We're family. Surely it isn't necessary to make things. Isabel glanced at Willow beside her and noticed the scowl the latter was wearing. The nerve of her to come. But she looks like the one who has been suffering all along. She wants to pick a fight with Sophie, but she can't do so. I wish you well, Sophie. Charmaine felt remorseful for the past as she gazed at her daughter who was about to be married. I was too biased. If I hadn't been, things might not have turned out the way they did. Charmaine took out a box from her purse. Your grandmother left me this long ago and now I'm giving it to you. She did not prepare gift, but that item was left to her by her mother. She was certain Sophie would like it. Sure enough, Sophie accepted it when she heard it was something her grandmother left behind. Thank you. Their relationship was already strained. Sophie did not know how to speak to her mother. I'll head out for a look. Charmaine did not wish to remain, either. She felt like a fish out of water. She was about to leave, but upon seeing Willow still standing there, she gave her a shove. "Let's go outside, Willa," Charmaine said, aware that Willow and Sophie would never go back to the way things were. Regaining her composure, Willow left with Charmaine. Willow felt a stabbing pain in her heart as she looked around the mansion. "I will never have the chance. A life of luxury is becoming further and further away out of reach. My life ahead is ruined, Mom. I will never be able to find happiness. This feels awful, but what else can I do? Marrying a rich man isn't as wonderful as you think it is, Willa. Look at me. I gave up everything to marry your father, and look what happened." At the thought of bearing Yale 3 children yet still ending up that way, Charmaine felt that her life was particularly unworthy. But Sophie has such a good life. Sophie in her wedding gown is an enviable sight. I only realized this at my age. Willa. A woman can only rely on herself. Sophie is formidable. With her at its helm, Tanner Group has prospered. Tristan would not want Sophie if she knew nothing. Willow was not in the mood to hear all of that. Perhaps today is an opportunity to meet some of Sophie's high-profile acquaintances. I only need to latch on to one to be set for life. Charmaine did not know what she was thinking. Feeling tired, she headed to the living room to sit down. "I'm here for Sophie's wedding, but I don't know what to say to her." Yale came afterward, alone. He saw Charmaine but did not say anything. Although he could forgive her for costing him a child, he no longer felt anything for her. In any case, the whole family made it. Concerned that his parents might make a scene, Caleb kept a watchful eye on them both. Fortunately, they ignored each other with no intention of quarreling. The entourage pulled up at Sophie's mansion at 8. It consisted of 16 cars, all of them white Porsche Cayennes. The most interesting detail, however, was the sequential license plates. "They're here, Sophie," Isabel exclaimed when she heard them. Cecilia dashed across the room to shut the door. "We're not going to make it easy for him to marry our Sophie." Georgina ran to the windows to ascertain the situation with the groom and his party. Tristan and 3 groomsmen had entered the mansion. Behind them was a large group of youngsters who were all rich heirs in Jipsdale. However, Georgina caught sight of Arius, who was clad in his tuxedo of a groomsman. "My man stands out even in this group of handsome men. He is so handsome." As if sensing her gaze, Arius looked up and saw the beautiful Georgina before the windows. His heart skipped a beat. "Are you nervous, Sophie?" Isabel began to grow nervous. "I'm fine." She had been waiting for him, and he had arrived at last. Her happiness was written all over her face. Not long after, a knock came on the door. "I'm here, Sophie." When Tristan announced his arrival, he felt strangely nervous. He was never nervous, yet he was on his wedding day. "You will have to pass some tests before you can marry Sophie, Mr. Tristan," Cecilia announced gleefully. "We're not going to just let him take her away." "Very well. We'll get through them no matter how many tests stand in our way," Tristan answered confidently. "All right, listen up." Cecilia cleared her throat. "What does Sophie like the most?" "She likes me the most," Tristan replied without hesitation. Inside the room, Cecilia rolled her eyes. How conceited is this guy? She turned to glance at Sophie, who nodded. What kind of answer is that? However, since Sophie has said that's the right answer, who are we to say otherwise? Fine. You get a point. That's true. He's the one she loves the most. Why would she marry him if she was not as fond of him as she claimed? Second question, when was your first kiss with Sophie? The question incited excitement on both sides of the door. They were all very interested in questions of that nature. After a prolonged silence, Felix, Sean, and Arius thought he had forgotten. You can't drop the ball at this point, Mr. Tristan. Women care about these details more than anything. Women are most fond of celebrating these strange milestones. How could I possibly forget? I remember everything about her. October 13th, 7:25 in the evening. Tristan provided his answer in painstaking detail. Cecilia was rendered speechless. Seriously? Does he actually remember it, or is he bluffing? Cecilia glanced at Sophie. Was that right? They did not know the answer. Besides, they had prepared the questions ahead of time without telling Sophie. I don't remember that. Isabel was rendered speechless. Cecilia chided. How could you, as a woman, forget that? But then again, this answer is typical of you, Sophie. After that, Tristan could answer every question Cecilia threw at him as long as it pertained to Sophie. Furthermore, they were very detailed. What an amazing man Mr. Tristan is. He can remember so many details. He must love this woman to bits. For the next round, Mr. Tristan, show us how sincere you are to Sophie. You can pass the monetary gifts through the bottom of the door. Now comes the main event. We're not going to go easy on him. Mr. Tristan has Lee top pockets, doesn't he? Georgina was stunned when she saw the bank card pushed through the crack at the bottom of the door. The envelope contained bank cards. That was something not expected. Cecilia's image twitched. Very well, then. This tactic doesn't work. She glanced about the room at the others. Isabel looked especial. Does my uncle look like someone who's short of money? Since he handle it well. After the wedding, we're going on a shopping spree. What do we do now? Cecilia was a little dissatisfied. Georgina nodded. Let him in. It's almost time. Where are the shoes? Are they hidden? Even if we let him in, we won't make it easy for him to take away. Georgina hid the wedding shoes at once before opening the door. The moment she opened the door, she saw Tristan standing outside in his wedding suit. Tristan was a handsome man. He looked utterly dashing regardless of what he wore. At that moment, Tristan only had his eyes on his bride. Sophie was sitting on the bed in a room that had already been decorated. His breath was taken away when he saw Sophie. Sophie is beautiful, isn't she, Uncle Tristan? In fact, she has to be the most beautiful bride ever, Isabel said. The Lombard family has powerful genes. Our future generation will be more beautiful than the last. Yes, she's gorgeous. She's breathtaking. Tristan couldn't take his eyes off Sophie. That's a given. Sophie has to be the prettiest girl in Jipsdale. Sophie is definitely the prettiest girl in the entire city. Mr. Tristan, we all know how much you love Sophie. Since it's your wedding day, perhaps you should sing Sophie a song to express your love for her. Cecilia continued making things difficult for him. Let's hear it. Isabel, the lovesick girl, exclaimed. Uncle Tristan has an amazing voice. He must sound incredible when he sings. Sophie watched as Tristan walked up to her. Her heart had been racing wildly the second she saw him. I'm getting married to him today. I'm getting married to the man I love the most. We'll be happily married from today onward. As everyone was looking forward to hearing Tristan sing, he went on to sing an Austronesian song that Sophie loved. She liked the lyrics. Needless to say, Tristan sounded incredible. When he sang, everyone at the scene went quiet as they were immersed in his performance. It seems that one has to be talented to get married nowadays. Charles uttered emotionally. It takes a lot to get married. Felix nodded and chimed in. I must learn to sing a few songs when I get back. Isabel is a singer. When we get married, I can't afford to embarrass her. Charles was rendered speechless. Why is he so easily swayed? He can't wait to get married, can he? But after seeing Mr. Tristan today, I'm eager to get married as well. Unfortunately, I never found the right person. Is it because I've been going after someone's looks instead of personality? After Tristan was done singing, he looked at Sophie passionately and promised, Marry me, Sophie. From now on, I'll treat you even better. Sophie's eyes were red with tears when she heard that. She didn't want to cry on her wedding day because she had never been one to tear up easily. However, she couldn't help it when she heard what he said. While holding back her tears, she nodded. Everyone in the room looked at the couple enviously. Right then, Cecilia jumped forward again. If I keep doing this, Mr. Tristan is going to kill me. But I'm only carrying out my duties. Mr. Tristan, there's one last thing you need to do. You need to find the bride's wedding shoes. Cecilia wasn't afraid of Tristan because she was Sophie's best friend. Mr. Tristan wouldn't dare lay a finger on me. Tristan glanced at the groomsmen. Go on, he ordered. What are these guys waiting for? Exasperated, those 3 groomsmen went on to find the wedding shoes. It was definitely interesting to watch the men looking for a pair of shoes. Tristan found the shoes within a minute, and he got down on one knee to help his bride put them on. No matter what the future holds for us, we'll be together. Cecilia was so touched that her eyes turned red as well. Caleb was also standing nearby. According to their family customs, as the bride's brother, he was supposed to bring Sophie to the car, so he stepped forward. Sophie, let me bring you to the car, Caleb uttered. I haven't been the best brother to her, so I must carry out my duty and bring her to the car. Tristan had wanted to carry Sophie to the car himself, but he saw her nodding. He had no choice but to let Caleb do the honor. Caleb walked up to Sophie and scooped her up. Everyone followed. You must be happy, Sophie, Caleb said sincerely. Don't worry about me, Caleb. I will be happy, Sophie replied. He really doesn't need to worry about me. When we were little, we were close. It's just that we grew apart as we grew older. Okay. Caleb brought Sophie to the car. After that, Tristan got in and sat next to her, holding her hand. Sophie looked out the window to see Caleb, Charmaine, Yale, and Willow standing outside. From this moment on, whatever happened in the past doesn't mean anything anymore. What matters is the days Tristan and I will spend together in the future. Ms. Sophie, you must live happily ever after with Mr. Tristan, okay? Morgan was also outside the car, and tears ran down his wrinkled face when he saw how blissful Sophie looked. Before old Mr. Tanner passed away, he was worried about Ms. Sophie the most. Now that she's getting married, he can finally be at peace. I will, Morgan. Sophie treated Morgan like her own family. Don't worry, Morgan. From now on, I'll be by her side, and no one will dare to bully her. Tristan flashed Morgan a friendly smile. Thank you. Yale, who was standing nearby, was slightly displeased. How could she treat a butler better than how she treats me? Wedding shoes. We should go now, Tristan reminded. Sophie nodded in response. Willow watched as the wedding car disappeared into the distance. No one at the scene had ever seen a wedding as grand, so as soon as the wedding car left, everyone started talking about it. Ms. Sophie is incredible. She actually got married to Mr. Tristan. Exactly. Everyone thought Mr. Tristan was just fooling around with her at first, but it seems that everyone was wrong. Mr. Tristan is deeply in love with her. He must love her so much. Otherwise, why would he spend so much time and effort to give her such a grand wedding? Charmaine and Willow were listening to what others were saying. At that moment, Charmaine regretted how she had treated Sophie. She's my daughter. If I had treated her better, things wouldn't have been like this. Meanwhile, jealousy overwhelmed Willow. No matter how hard I work for the rest of my life, I'll never do as well as Sophie. Mom, I want to witness Sophie's wedding. Willow wanted to attend the wedding to see if she could find herself a man there. This could be my last chance. After all, I'm now Mr. Tristan's sister-in-law. Why would you go there? Willow, stop having other thoughts. Find yourself an ordinary man and live a good life. That's the best one can hope for, Charmaine replied. Not everyone has such good luck as Sophie. Caleb also tapped Willow on the shoulder and advised, Willow, your only job now is to study. Once you graduate from the university, find yourself a stable job. Willow clenched her fists when she heard that. Now, everyone thinks I'll never do as well as Sophie. No one thinks I can marry into a wealthy family. Willow was having a hard time coming to terms with that, and she couldn't accept the reality. Meanwhile, Tristan was holding Sophie's hand tightly in the wedding car. He was so happy that he couldn't stop smiling. Are you really that happy? Naturally, Sophie was thrilled when she saw the look on his face. If he looks so happy, that means he loves me dearly. Yes. I'm on cloud 9. Cecilia, who was sitting in the passenger seat, was moved when she heard that. It's hard to meet the right person, but they've done it. Now, they'll only have each other in their hearts and live happily ever after. Their love for each other is wonderful. Cecilia was beaming when she saw how happy Sophie was. Sophie deserves all the happiness in the world. Finally, the wedding car arrived at the Lombard residence. The Lombard residence was extensively renovated and decorated for their wedding. By then, all the members of the Lombard family had arrived, and they were all eager to catch a glimpse of the bride. Tristan stepped out of the car the moment the car came to a halt. Since his wife had already passed on, William came out of the residence himself. When he saw Sophie, he was moved. Right then, the butler passed William the monetary gift he had prepared earlier. William wanted to give it to Sophie personally. Welcome to our family, Sophie. I hope you'll be happy with Tristan for the rest of your life. Thanks, Dad. Sophie accepted the monetary gift. Evidently, William had changed, for he did not like Sophie at first. Tristan opened the door and carried Sophie out of the car. Sophie was skinny, but her wedding dress was heavy because the details on it were embroidered by hand. Am I not heavy today? Sophie asked, wrapping her arms around his neck. With my tiara and wedding dress, I must weigh over 100 pounds. Not at all. I can carry you with ease. Tristan smiled in amusement. I can't possibly let her walk on her own. Those 3 pairs of bridesmaids and groomsmen were also smiling brightly. He carried her even before we told him to. The groom sure knows what to do. He's the best husband one can hope for. Still, why would Mr. Tristan have a problem carrying a woman? He's a strong man. With the groomsmen and bridesmaids following closely behind, Tristan carried his bride straight to their room. The couple's wedding adhered to traditional wedding customs, so the common rituals were carried out. Shortly after, obviously, it was a heartwarming sight. The wedding reception was held in a hotel that evening. Sophie had a moment to rest right before the wedding reception started. A lot of the guests wanted to enter the room to see the bride, but with Tristan there, no one dared to do as they wished. The bridesmaids and groomsmen read the room and promptly exited, leaving the couple alone. Finally, she's now my bride. Everything felt surreal to Tristan. Sophie, we'll live happily ever after, right? I really feel very happy today. We'll have no problem spending the rest of our lives together. Although he didn't sleep the night before, he was pumped on his wedding day. Come here, Sophie said. Why does he keep standing there? Tristan walked up to her and sat beside her. Are you tired? Do you want to take a nap? We have a wedding reception to go through later. Having a wedding is tiring, but getting married to someone I love is joyful. Sophie leaned on his shoulder. You should get some rest too. You didn't sleep last night, did you? I didn't. I was too excited. Tristan didn't have to hide his feelings in front of Sophie. You're so silly. Why didn't you sleep? I'm not going to run away. I wasn't worried about you running away. I couldn't sleep because I was too excited. In that case, you should get some rest. I still need to entertain our guests. It's my wedding day today. We're surrounded by so many friends and family members. I can't stay inside here. Take a nap for half an hour. Don't we have Lincoln and Sarah out there? They can help us entertain our guests. We don't need to worry about our guests, do we? You want me to stay here with you, huh? Be honest with me, Sophie. Do you have any worries about marrying me? Tristan smiled affectionately. She's only 21, and she's already marrying me. What's there to worry about? I'm thrilled to marry you. I'm serious, so don't overthink. All right. As Sophie was in her wedding dress with a tiara on, she couldn't lie down. Are you not going to take a nap? Tristan asked. She woke up early to apply makeup and get ready. Although she looks amazing, she must be exhausted. Do you want me to remove the tiara? She can't sleep with the tiara on her head. Sophie shook her head in response. It's all right. We have a lot of guests around, so some of them will want to see me later. I can't mess up my hair. Sophie usually wouldn't care about such things, but it was her special day. She didn't want to look disheveled. Don't worry about that and go to sleep. I won't let anyone in, Tristan said. No one can disturb her without my approval. No. You shouldn't get angry today. We're only going through this once in our lives. I'm really not tired. How can I fall asleep in peace at a time like this? All right then. Lean on me for a while. Tristan closed his eyes. Although he couldn't fall asleep, he wanted to keep her company. Tristan stayed in the room with Sophie until someone came knocking on the door. It was Lincoln. You should come out and entertain the guests. They are all our relatives. No one but Lincoln would dare to make such a request. Okay, I understand. You can head down first. I'll join you shortly. Tristan always respected Lincoln's decisions because he held him in high regard. Hurry up. Quit dawdling, Lincoln said before descending the stairs. He had been greeting the guests downstairs, as it was his duty to do so. After all, it was his brother's wedding. However, Tristan could not stay hidden from the guests. When Sophie observed his reluctant return, she flashed a wide grin. All right, I know you're busy today. There's no need for you to stay here with me. The bride often has a relatively easier time as compared to the groom. Okay, remember to give me a call if you need anything. I'll bring it to you right away. Oh, by the way, I've arranged some food for you. Remember to eat later. Sophie probably hasn't had breakfast yet. She must be feeling hungry. Okay, you should hurry on. She was aware that Lincoln had come upstairs to search for Tristan earlier, and it wouldn't be appropriate for him to stay in the room any longer. Okay. After Tristan left, the 3 bridesmaids entered the room to keep her company. Even on this busy day, Lincoln made sure to order food for Sophie as he didn't want her to go hungry. Sophie, are you hungry? There's plenty of delicious food here. You should eat some, Isabel said as she brought the food over. When Cecilia saw that Sophie was dressed in a way that made it inconvenient for her to eat, she offered to feed her friend. Make sure you eat your fill. You need to conserve your energy for the wedding ceremony tonight and consummate your marriage afterward. Tristan had been waiting for this day for a long time. They were unlikely to see much of Sophie for the whole of next week. Sophie blushed at the mention of consummating their marriage. Tristan has been waiting for this day for a long time, but he should be too tired to do anything today. Even though Isabel had already eaten earlier, she decided to eat again to keep Sophie company. That's right, Sophie. You should eat more so that you have the strength to battle tonight. Normally, no one would have dared to provoke Tristan, but it seemed that these people wouldn't let him off the hook so easily that day. Sophie felt full after eating a small portion. Have you all had your meals? Georgina, have you eaten? She was concerned about the woman's introverted nature and wanted to ensure she was well taken care of. Georgina smiled and replied, Don't worry about me. I've already eaten. Sophie was a warm-hearted person who tried her best to care for everyone around her. How could Arius possibly let her go hungry? He takes care of her so well, Cecilia said enviously. Everyone seemed to be in pairs, except for her. She was still alone. However, there was nothing she could do about it. Her destiny had not yet arrived. They continued chatting in the room. With her 3 bridesmaids' company, Sophie didn't feel bored. Shortly after, a group of children from the relatives' families arrived, eager to receive the wedding candies. Sophie stood up and fetched the treats for them. Even though they came from affluent families, they were still children at heart. They were excited to receive the candies. Furthermore, the young girls were mesmerized by Sophie's beauty and refused to leave. Mommy, she's so beautiful. Will I be as pretty as her when I grow up? Mommy, I don't want to go outside. Can I stay here? I want to keep gazing at the fairy. Some of the children refused the leave. They wanted to stay and watch the beautiful bride. Ms. Tanner, I apologize for their behavior. They are immature kids. It's all right. I'm glad they like me. They can stay here if they wish to. Sophie replied, pleased with the children's company. The little girls were all beautiful and well behaved. We're really sorry. Despite their mother's embarrassment over their children's behavior, they had no other option but to let them stay as the little ones adamantly refused to leave. The wedding was held at a hotel in the evening. The wedding planning company had finished the preparations, and all the guests had arrived at the venue. Caleb naturally had to turn up for the wedding. As he was getting ready to leave, Willow promptly stood. Caleb, can I go with you? Don't worry. I won't cause any trouble, she pleaded. After all, she did not have the courage to disrupt such an important occasion. It was Tristan's wedding. She just wanted to attend the event. All right. Mom, you should go too. It's Sophie's wedding. We shouldn't give others a chance to speak ill of us, Caleb suggested. As a family, it was only fitting for them to be present on such an important day. Charmaine nodded in agreement. Of course. How can I possibly miss my daughter's wedding? Once Sophie is married to Tristan, our standing in the social circle will undoubtedly rise. I can't afford to miss such a momentous occasion. Willow finally managed to attend the wedding as she wished. When they arrived, Mark and the rest were already present. He merely nodded to acknowledge their presence. Even though he wasn't very familiar with Sophie's family, he knew their relationship was strained. Meanwhile, Sophie had sent someone to escort Morgan to the hotel. When Morgan arrived, he saw Caleb and the others. He knew that Willow and Charmaine didn't like him, so he didn't bother approaching them. There was no need to seek unnecessary trouble. However, Caleb took the initiative to approach him. Morgan, why don't you join us at our table? Since most of the attendees were Tristan's relatives and friends, it might be awkward for Morgan to sit alone with them. Sure, Mr. Tanner. Morgan didn't refuse the offer. After all, he was there to witness Sophie's joyous union. Sitting at any table wouldn't make much difference to him. The venue for the wedding was the most prestigious hotel in the city. It was renowned for its exclusivity, often requiring reservations at least 1 month in advance. Tristan had reserved the entire place for this special occasion and transformed it into a stunning setting for the grand celebration. The hotel, having received a substantial payment, was more than willing to cater to the event's needs. Every corner was adorned with colorful decorations that created a festive atmosphere. The guests present at the event were all affluent and influential individuals. Access to the venue was strictly reserved for those with invitations. Caleb brought Willow and Charmaine along, while Morgan had his own invitation. In fact, Sophie had personally handed Morgan his invitation. She was indeed a kind-hearted woman. As they entered the hotel, Charmaine couldn't help but feel the stark contrast between her own social standing and the upper class. She had always thought the Tanner family did not truly belong to the upper class. It was at this moment that she gained a profound understanding of what it truly meant to be part of the elite social circle. Willow stood in awe as she had never seen such extravagance before. It allowed her to understand what it truly meant to be in the elite social circle. The stark contrast to her previous illusions about the Tanner family's status left her feeling insignificant and humbled. Meanwhile, William and his family had also arrived at the venue. As soon as he noticed Caleb and his family, he went over to greet them. Despite everything, they were still Sophie's family. It was important to be respectful. Please, come in and take a seat. Sophie and the others will join us shortly. Let us take our seats. William graciously guided them to the main table. It was a gesture that emphasized their importance. Morgan hesitated to sit when he saw the reserved spot was at the main table. As a mere servant, he felt it inappropriate for him to occupy such a position of prominence. Mr. Tanner, I'll sit over there instead. I don't think it's appropriate for me to sit here, he whispered. Charmaine chose to remain silent, but deep down, she shared the same sentiment as Morgan. She didn't think it was appropriate for the butler to occupy such an important seat. However, Caleb shook his head. Morgan, Sophie must want you to sit here. You represent Grandpa, he insisted, fully aware of his sister's deep respect for Josiah. The butler didn't argue further and accepted the decision. Please make yourself comfortable here. I need to attend to the other guests, said William. As one of the top aristocratic families in the city, the Lombards had drawn the attention of all the influential individuals in Jipsdale, who had come together to celebrate this momentous occasion. As the patriarch of the Lombard family, William had many things to attend to. When Lincoln saw his father reappearing again, he urged, "Dad, age is catching up on you. I'll take care of everything here. Please take a rest." William waved his hand dismissively and said, "I'm fine, Lincoln. I'm so happy today. Tristan is finally getting married." Lincoln supported his father to a nearby resting area. "All right, Dad. I know you are overjoyed, but you should be mindful of your health. Otherwise, how are you going to see your grandchildren in the future?" Now that Tristan and Sophie were married, it wouldn't be long before they had a child. William's smile widened as he assured, "All right. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing." "Good that you know." Just then, Sarah arrived and informed, "Dad, the president has arrived. You should personally greet him." Given the rarity of the president attending social occasions, it was only fitting for William to personally receive the esteemed guest. The others could focus on greeting the remaining attendees. "The president. Why is he here?" William asked, his curiosity piqued. Although he had handed over a national treasure to the government, it seemed unlikely that the president would attend his son's wedding just because of that. "It's because of Sophie." Lincoln had insider knowledge because of his involvement in politics. The Lombard family was indeed lucky to have her. "Ah, I see. That makes sense." No matter how accomplished Tristan was, being a businessman alone doesn't warrant the personal attendance of the president. However, it would be an entirely different matter if the president attended the wedding because of Sophie. She was a member of the Shannikin Medical Association and played a crucial role in the virus incident. It made sense for the president to show up. "All right, Sarah, stay here and take care of the guests. Lincoln and I will greet the president," William instructed. As a politician, Lincoln should leverage this opportunity to leave a positive impression on the president. "Don't worry, Dad. I'll handle things out here. Go on." Sarah was no stranger to grand occasions, and despite the presence of influential figures from Jipsdale, she felt confident in managing the situation. Lincoln and William made their way to the room where the president was at. There were Secret Service agents stationed outside the room. However, they did not make things difficult for the duo. Instead, they allowed them to enter the room. "Congratulations, old Mr. Lombard." The president greeted them with a warm smile. He attended the wedding to cultivate a favorable relationship with Tristan and Sophie, so he had to set aside his esteemed status and act humbly. "I didn't expect you to show up, Mr. President, but you have a special status. You might cause a commotion if you were to leave the room." The Lombard family would find themselves in a precarious situation should any unfortunate incident befall the president during the wedding. "Don't worry, old Mr. Lombard. I didn't want to miss the opportunity to congratulate them. Both Tristan and Sophie have made remarkable contributions to our country. I'm here to extend my best wishes." Aware of the potential disruptions his public appearance might cause, the president had chosen to attend the wedding discreetly. "I extend my sincere gratitude to you, Mr. President, on behalf of Tristan and Sophie," William said humbly. "Well, you go ahead and get busy. I will join the wedding festivities later." His presence alone held immense significance, a testament to the honor bestowed upon the Lombard family. "Okay, I'll make the arrangements." They would need to set up a separate table for the president since it wouldn't be appropriate to exclude him from the wedding. "Please, go ahead. I am here to partake in the joyous celebration just like everyone else. There's no need to give me any special attention," the president said. No need to worry, Mr. President. We will ensure everything is taken care of. The president is unlike other guests attending the wedding. After William and Lincoln departed, the president's secretary couldn't contain his curiosity any longer. May I ask, Mr. President, why did you personally attend this event? Your presence is sure to give rise to countless speculations and rumors. Even though he was the secretary, he did not understand why the president had chosen to attend the wedding. Sophie is a medical genius, while Tristan controls Chenia's economy. It's only right for me to attend their wedding. He recognized the potential benefits of establishing close ties with them, as it would undoubtedly facilitate the advancement of his own work. The secretary pondered for a moment before asking, "What should we do about the rumors?" After all, the president could not keep hiding in the room. That's where your task is. Everyone gathered here is wealthy and influential. It's imperative that you address any potential rumors and shut their mouths. What rumors might emerge from my attendance? The secretary must strategize how to manage public perception and control the narrative. It isn't that challenging, right? Tristan's father had personally handed a national treasure to the government. The president's attendance at his son's wedding should not be seen as anything out of the ordinary or suspicious. I understand. I shall make the necessary arrangements, the secretary replied, immediately understanding what the president meant. Right then, Tristan and Sophie's wedding car had arrived at the hotel. When Tristan lifted Sophie in his arms, she said, "I can walk on my own." She did not want to tire Tristan. "You're the bride. How can I let you walk?" Tristan insisted while carrying her to the presidential suite. The wedding was about to commence, and the makeup artists and hairstylists had arrived to touch up Sophie's makeup. Isabel and the rest were also getting their makeup done. Every girl wants to look beautiful on such a special day. When Tristan noticed that William had come over looking for him, he went out with his father. "What's the matter, Dad? Are you tired? Go to your room and rest for a while if you are," Tristan suggested, concerned. "Dad has been busy all day." "Don't worry. I'm fine. How can I possibly rest on a day like this?" "Oh, right. I came to tell you that the president is here in person." William figured that Tristan was probably still unaware of it. He had come to notify him first to see if the latter had a better arrangement. Tristan furrowed his brows. What is he doing here at my wedding? The president is utterly absurd. On a day like today, when Sophie and I are both busy, who has time to attend to his needs? What are you talking about? You can't let anyone hear that. It'll cause unnecessary misunderstandings. No matter how powerful the Lombards were, they still had to show the president respect and act accordingly. All right, I got it. I'll make the arrangements. Tristan could only go to one side. Bertram immediately came up to him after receiving his call. What's the matter, Mr. Tristan? Today is Mr. Tristan's wedding day. I doubt anyone would dare to come and stir up trouble. The president is here. Follow him with a few bodyguards, and don't let anything happen to him, Tristan instructed in frustration. The president is here too? Bertram was a little nervous. He had never thought that he would be so close to the president one day. Be careful. Arrange a table for the president and keep an eye on his safety, Tristan cautioned. It's a nuisance that he came. Don't worry, Mr. Tristan. I will keep him safe. There won't be any problem, Bertram assured. He would undoubtedly fulfill any task given to him. Go on then. Only after Bertram went over to make the necessary arrangements did he personally lead the bodyguards to greet the president. As a person who frequently appeared on television, the president was well known in Chinoca. As soon as he appeared, everyone present was dumbfounded. Even though everyone knew that the Lombard family was powerful, no one had anticipated the president to appear in person. Barney and the others came as well. The bigwigs arrived at the wedding one by one. Each person was more prominent than the one before them, making for a spectacular scene that left everyone dazzled. What's going on? What's the connection between the president and the Lombard family? Why did the president come here in person? Beats me. The Lombard family is indeed the most prestigious family in Jipsdale. The people showing up here astounds me, each of their social statuses more terrifying than the ones before them. In any case, no one can offend the Lombard family in the future. Otherwise, they would be dead before they even realized it. Exactly. Mark and the others also showed up. Sunny found the discussions among the people amusing. Sophie is so awesome. Even the president came to her wedding in person. Even though they were artists, the presence of Mark and the others on such an occasion was not surprising at all. Caleb took a deep breath to compose himself. Never in his wildest dreams did he expect to see those people on such an occasion. Willow, on the other hand, clenched her fists tightly. Sophie is so lucky. All the girls in Jipsdale are envious of her now. This wedding is unprecedented. I can forget about surpassing her in this lifetime. Charmaine looked envious as well. Sophie has easily obtained what I desired. More importantly, Tristan loves her deeply and has never made her suffer in any way whatsoever. That alone is enough to make me envious. At that moment, beautiful music began to play, all performed live by accomplished musicians on classical instruments such as the harp and lute. Then, a regal-looking Tristan and a stunning Sophie appeared on the red carpet. They approached slowly. The three groomsmen and bridesmaids behind them were also eye-catching. All of them looked as if they had traveled from ancient times. Tristan and Sophie walked onto the stage, where a wedding officiant in traditional attire had also appeared. I now ask you to declare your marriage vows. The two slowly turned to face one another and recited their vows. The couple will now seal their vows by exchanging rings. William was overwhelmed with emotions when he saw that. Finally, after so long, the wait is over. At that moment, Charmaine truly regretted not treating Sophie well previously. Her status would have been different today. I now pronounce you husband and wife. Tristan was overjoyed. It just feels so different at this moment. Likewise, Sophie was all smiles. After the ceremony and countless blessings from the wedding officiant, it was time for the groom's father to give a speech. Even though William was no stranger to such grand occasions, his heart still pounded as he stood in front of the microphone and took out the speech he had prepared in advance. He had spent his life guarding a love that had eventually extended to his 3 children. Truth be told, he had always been a very simple person. All he wanted was for them to be happy. Dear honored guests, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend my son's wedding today. His words resonated strongly, carrying the blessings of a father more than anything. Tristan's eyes reddened as he listened to his father's speech. He's really a good father. No matter what he does or the decisions he makes, he always has our best interests at heart. Sophie held Tristan's hand. She knew that William was a good father, and she considered herself extremely fortunate to have married into such a wonderful family. The Lombard family is very harmonious. I'm looking forward to my married life. Alright, thank you everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves here today. After saying that, William put away his prepared speech and returned to his seat. He turned to look at the newlyweds with satisfaction. He was currently very satisfied with Sophie. Thank you to the groom's father for his speech. I wonder if the bride's mother has anything to say to the newlyweds. The wedding MC looked at Charmaine, who was in the main seat. Charmaine did not have a speech ready because she had thought she would not be able to sit in that position. The fact that all eyes were on her at that moment made her nervous. Even so, she still stood up and walked toward the microphone. Seeing that, Caleb could not help but feel a little worried. She wouldn't utter nonsense on such an occasion, would she? Willow, too, kept her eyes on Charmaine the entire time. This wedding is too beautiful to be true. What gives Sophie the right to have such a perfect wedding? It'd be great if Mother said something unpleasant. I am happy to see that Sophie's happy, and I wish they will be well and happy for the rest of their lives. Even though Charmaine was not prepared for this and her relationship with Sophie was strained, her statement came from the bottom of her heart. No matter what, Sophie was her daughter, who had achieved so much and had even landed a good man. As a mother, of course, Charmaine wanted her to be well and happy. Hearing what she said, Caleb breathed a sigh of relief, while Willow was obviously disappointed. Even Mother has changed her mind. Sophie is now her hope, while I remain a joke whom everyone detests. Right then, a slideshow was presented on the big screen, showcasing the sweet memories of Sophie and Tristan over the past 2 years. Sophie had no idea when Tristan took some of the pictures. Coupled with the melodramatic music playing in the background, Sophie felt her eyes become teary. Just how many things did he do when I wasn't paying attention? He really is such a sweet man. Do you have anything to say to the bride? Taking the microphone, Tristan stood in front of Sophie and gazed at her lovingly. Sophie Tanner, in this lifetime and the next after that, I will love you and you alone. After saying that, Tristan wrapped his arms around Sophie and lowered his head, capturing her lips with his. The crowd erupted into thunderous applause. Isabel, Cecilia, and Georgina were all teary-eyed. It is normal for women to be moved by such scenes. As for Arius, he felt as if he was a father watching his daughter get married. After all, he had known Sophie for a long time and was even aware of the woman's hardships in Horrington. Now, Sophie had finally got married to a man who loved her dearly. Everything turned out perfectly. After the wedding ceremony, Tristan and Sophie changed to more appropriate attire for the toasting session. Sophie had on a red gown with exquisite embroidery, which complemented her stunning figure. Although she was slim, she had curves in all the right places. After she changed her attire, the hairstylist hurriedly came to fix her hair, as the previous hairstyle did not match the current gown. Fortunately, the hairstylist was quick. It took her less than 10 minutes. As for the makeup artist, all she needed to do was retouch a bit of the makeup. After that, Sophie was good to go, which also signaled the end of the hairstylist's and the makeup artist's jobs. Tristan had been waiting for her. Upon seeing her tired look, he felt his heart ache for her. Why don't you just take a rest here? Let me attend the toasting session alone. He knew how exhausted she was. Wedding ceremonies can be draining. I'm all right. Let's go together. There's no way I'm missing any events today. How can the bride be absent? Okay, let's go then. They're waiting. The groomsmen and bridesmaids were already waiting for them outside. After helping Sophie to wear a pair of red high heels, Tristan carried her in his arms. What are you doing? Aren't we going to the toasting session? Yeah, but with me carrying you, you'll be less tired. Sophie was extremely touched by the man's thoughtfulness. Love you. Love me properly tonight. For a long time, he had anticipated what would come tonight. Now that they were married, he would never let go of her. Sophie felt herself blushing. She, too, knew how long the man had been waiting for tonight. The fact that he had held on until now came as a surprise to everyone. After all, he was known to be decisive and relentless. The reason he had waited for Sophie until tonight was merely out of respect for her, which was also a display of his love for her. I'm looking forward to it as well, confessed Sophie boldly. They were married now, anyway. There was no need to beat around the bush. I'll make sure to satisfy you. Felix and the others exchanged glances upon seeing Tristan carrying Sophie in his arms. Isn't he spoiling her too much? Despite so, they voiced no opinion regarding this matter. Well, I guess there's nothing wrong with a man spoiling his woman. Let's go. It's time for the toasting session. That's enough. Hurry up and put me down, Sophie demanded, as she felt embarrassed to be carried in front of these many people. It would be fine if they were alone, but she felt shy if people were present. I'll put you down in the elevator. Felix and Isabel walked side by side. You see that, Felix? You should learn from Uncle Tristan when we get married. My uncle is truly the ideal. Yeah, don't worry. I will surely spoil you a lot when we get married. If he can do it, then I can do it too. That's more like it, said Isabel in satisfaction. At the same time, Aureus had his arm wrapped around Georgina's waist. Ms. Bates, Are we done dating? If yes, let's get married. Seeing how happy Sophie was, Audiotales wanted to tie the knot as well. But we just started dating. Let's continue dating for a while more lest you get tired of me. Getting married means staying together until the end of time. Georgina always felt as if she did not deserve this version of Audiotales. What are you talking about? How can I possibly get tired of you when I love you so much? Does this mean she still has no faith in me? Did I do something wrong? How could my own girlfriend think we could break up any time? Noticing Audiotales' dampened mood, Georgina quickly shook her head. That's not what I meant. I'm just suggesting that we should remain in the dating phase first. To her, they still did not understand each other well enough, so they could not move on to the next level just yet. Considering your lack of trust in me, I agree, but just know that I'll treat you better than before. This is all because I rejected her before. Every pair of couples had their sweet moments together. Cecilia did her best not to glance at Sean, who stood beside her. Regardless of her effort, Sean had no feelings for her. What happened that night was merely a mistake, and she was a woman with dignity. All she could do now was pretend to be nonchalant. She had never felt pity for herself, so she would never feel aggrieved just because of some man. Sean was actually looking at Cecilia too. She looked very pretty that day. He didn't have any particular feelings before, but ever since that night, he realized how voluptuous her figure was and how seductive she could be in bed. However, at that moment, Cecilia was pretending not to know him. Is it really necessary for her to go to such lengths? I was drunk that night. But what about her? Wasn't she sober? Why did that happen then? He couldn't voice those questions then because if he did, the words might sound very hurtful to Cecilia. I really don't mind taking responsibility, but she doesn't want me to. Sean was in distress. I slept with her, and now things have taken such an awkward and undesirable turn. Forget it. I'll deal with this after Tristan's wedding. His mind was in a chaotic state at that instant, and he didn't have the slightest clue as to how he should address that issue. 8 people got on the elevator. When they reached the venue, the banquet had already begun. Tristan and Sophie went from table to table to greet their guests. The couple first arrived at the president's table. Seeing that even the president had come, the 3 bridesmaids were astonished. No one had told them that the president was there. Even the 3 groomsmen were also stunned. At that instant, the president stood up while holding a wine glass in his hand. Since he had gotten to his feet, the rest of the people around the table naturally followed suit. Tristan, Sophie, I'm delighted to know that you two are getting married. Both of you are Chenia's hope. I'm certain that your union will also bring prosperity to our nation. Mr. President, we are grateful that you took the time to attend our wedding despite your busy schedule. With so many people around, Sophie didn't feel anything special about the president's advent. After all, that was her and Tristan's wedding ceremony. The two had wanted a simple celebration, but because of William, they had to organize that grand wedding. Now that the president was also there, they had to spend time entertaining him, which Sophie found nothing but tedious. Sophie, you're now part of the medical association, so I might be in your care in the future. The president was very polite. He regarded Sophie, the 21-year-old girl, with great respect. Of course. After toasting at that table, they moved to William's table. The people seated around that table were all family, and Morgan was also among them. Tears welled up in Morgan's eyes as he witnessed how blissful Sophie's life was. Old Mr. Tanner can now rest in peace. The granddaughter he cherished the most is truly happy now. You two must stay well together in the future. I can only rest assured if I see the two of you happy, William repeatedly advised. Still, both of you are good kids, so I believe you'll be fine. Dad, don't worry. We'll take good care of each other. The following table consisted of Mark and the others. All 5 band members' eyes reddened when they saw how happy Sophie was. We're not going to say much. With our relationship, we don't need to elaborate further. Anyway, Mr. Tristan, remember never to make Sophie cry. Otherwise, even though we can win you, we'll still fight you, Sunny said agitatedly. Don't worry. How could I bear to make her cry? I can't wait to shower her with more love. Tristan was particularly tolerant of Mark and his band members. There were over 100 tables at the venue, and all of the attendees were wealthy and influential. Tristan and Sophie went from table to table for a toast. The three groomsmen performed their duty by helping Tristan to intercept and drink the glasses of wine. After going around, the trio had also consumed a considerable amount of alcohol. By the time they reached the last table, Felix was already getting unsteady on his feet. He leaned against Isabel. Isabel, I think I'm really drunk. You must take good care of me tonight, okay? He staggered, feeling lightheaded. Don't worry. I'll take care of you today. Now that's enough. Stop talking if you're drunk. Isabel's heart ached terribly as she took in his intoxicated appearance. I knew you were the best, Felix said, resting his weight on Isabel's shoulder while wearing a contented expression. My girl is really gentle and thoughtful now. Of course. Isabel genuinely loved him. She had come to realize her feelings since that incident in Fandar. When Sophie walked over, she saw Felix in that pathetic state. She figured he must have dedicatedly carried out his task that day. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten that drunk. Take him upstairs to rest. There's nothing much left to do here. We'll be calling it a day once we see all the guests off, Sophie said to Isabel. Okay, all right. I'll bring Felix upstairs first. Don't worry about us later. I'll have the hotel staff send food to us. Sophie and the others had also been busy all day. Isabel didn't want them to trouble themselves to take care of her and Felix. They could look after themselves. After all, that was a hotel. They could get whatever they needed. Wait here a moment. I'll ask Sunny to lend you a hand. Sophie, that's not necessary. I can still walk. Isabel was so fond of those band members from the Wheelers that Felix didn't want their help. He could walk on his own. Aren't you drunk? I am, but I can still walk. Must one pass out on the floor before they're considered drunk? Fine. You two go upstairs first, then. Sophie didn't call for help since she noticed Felix could still get by. The guests began to leave one by one, and Tristan and Sophie went to the door to see them off. Sophie wasn't used to wearing high heels. She felt that her legs were about to give way. Only after all the guests had left did she breathe a sigh of relief. Noticing Morgan was still there, she approached him at his table. Morgan, it's very late now. Would you prefer to stay in the hotel tonight, or should I have someone take you home? Sophie was exceptionally gentle when talking to Morgan, treating him like she did her grandfather. Ms. Sophie, don't mind me. You've also had a long day and haven't even eaten yet. Hurry up and have some food. I can go back by myself. Morgan had stayed there simply because he wished to see Sophie for a longer time. I'll ask someone to take you home. Morgan, don't overthink, and just take good care of the mansion for me. Sophie knew Morgan was afraid of troubling her, so he had been wanting to leave. However, she knew he had no relatives left. Where else can he go? I don't mind taking care of him for the rest of his life. Ms. Sophie dash. Has Ms. Sophie always known? I really did plan to leave. An old man like me will only burden Ms. Sophie. I really shouldn't stay here any longer. If you leave, my grandpa will blame me. Okay, Ms. Sophic. Thank you. Ms. Sophie is genuinely a kind-hearted and warm person. Most of the time, she's just not good at expressing herself.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.